Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Wednesday evening at about 7 p.m. I was going to do this as a live video, and then I don't know, the gumption left me. So it's easier just to record it, and if I mess up, I can stop and pause and everything. And live videos is kind of hard to do. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Like and subscribe, hit the bell to be dinged when I dong. I'll put notes down in the doobly-doo. As always, I'm on ZellyPay, so if you'd like to donate to the channel, please feel free. Be assured that everything that I get goes back into the channel. Appreciate it very much. Tonight's video du jour is a little bit of everything. We're going to talk about a couple different game systems that I've been looking at, and just kind of talk, you know, a general overview. I have an ongoing Midgard campaign right now. We're taking a break this weekend. Just 3 of my players out of the 5 are going to be out, so I didn't want to, you know, 2 of the guys may come over to play a board game or something. I don't know. We haven't decided yet, but I was going to use this time to kind of, you know, get the juices flowing again and kind of figure out what's going on and go from there. For those that notice, I've got new glasses, so I can see now. I don't have to take my glasses off, and they're, of course, bifocals because I'm blind. But a big shout out to everybody recently who's joined the channel. I think we've jumped up to, we're like 530 or something like that subscribers, so that's awesome. I'll actually go check. So that's really cool. I appreciate all the new subscribers, and, you know, as always, like and subscribe and share it with your friends and let them know. You know, love to have new members on the channel, grow the Meanie Army. Yeah, we're up to 535 subscribers, and that's all because of you guys. There is no me without you. So it just tells me that people like the stuff that I spit out, and I appreciate it. You can see my messy table back there. I apologize. So anyway, back to Midgard. Running the game, it's going great. I've got 5 awesome players. I love my players. They are fantastic. 3 of them are relatively new. One's come back to the fold, and then the other one's been a long-time gamer. Just great players. I mean, really immersive and get into their characters. And we had a character fatality. Our Clockwork or Gearforge, I keep wanting to say Clockwork. Our Gearforge Paladin died last session. He got killed. And they weren't able to revive him, or they chose not to, or whatever. But in all fairness, it's a new campaign. We're only like 4 or 5 episodes into it, and basically what happened is they got into a brawl, and he's kind of new to 5th edition. I think he's played once before, and he made a character that just, I don't want to say it didn't fit. That's not a good way to put it. But he didn't know his character that well. He's got a better idea of the game now and the game world, and a lot of it has to do with you as a GM, your GMing style. I'm a very visceral GM. You know, if you get into a fight, there are consequences, and, you know, going down into the sewers prepared, knowing that you're gonna get into the shit is one thing, as opposed to, you know, doing things and you know, maybe putting a target on your back or whatever, and being singled out in a crowd and being attacked, you know, basically ambushed, is another thing. And if you're not prepared for it, and you can't always be prepared, sometimes you come up on the losing end, and in this case they did. The players survived, the group did, but unfortunately there was a casualty, and it all worked out, and the player wasn't upset about it. We all took a moment to mourn his loss, and you know, we kind of ended the session there. And not this Friday, but next Friday, when we pick up again, we're going to pick up probably dealing with that whole situation and the character death and what all that entails. But the purpose of tonight's video was to those that have followed my channel know that I might have a slight addiction with RPG books. But I also suffer from analysis paralysis, meaning I have so many choices I can't make a choice, and I flip-flop. I get burnt out on a game real quick. I have to say, I'm really loving Midgard. The wealth and breadth of material is a lot, but not so much that you can't digest it, and I really like that. I think one of the things that really killed me about Pathfinder First Edition was there was just so many books, and they all came out so fast, and you just didn't have time to absorb them. I think WotC's doing a really great job with their the way their release schedule is and everything, and how they're hyping certain things, and then they're letting it kind of stew for a bit, and then bring out or announce the next big thing. So it's really cool that they're doing that. But so tonight's focus was, I wanted to talk a little bit about analysis paralysis and options, and how do you narrow it down? How do you make a decision, and maybe get some feedback from you guys on how you deal with it? Because it is an issue for some people, and especially for me. I mean, I have quite an extensive game library, and it's tough sometimes to make a decision on what to play. And I want to play all of these games because I've bought them all, and I want to use them, and I'm excited to have them, and I want to play them. But unfortunately, most groups want a long campaign. They want character development. They want to get the cool magic items or the cool sci-fi items or whatever your genre of game may be, and they want character investment. And I get that. I'm kind of, and I'm sure some of my players will watch this because they're all subscribed to my channel. And I've always told them from the get-go that we'll play for an amount of time, and then we will switch gears to another game, because I get burnt out, and I'm the only one GMing. Nobody else wants to GM, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I like GMing, but sometimes I'd like to play. And but unfortunately, with my schedule and the way the events are in my life, I really have to game at my house, and so this is what it is, and so I deal with it in the realms that work for me. So what I did is I grabbed a couple of the games that I was thinking about and looking at, and then some of the ones I might want to run, and then go through the pros and cons of them and see if you guys agree with me, or whatever, and just maybe go over some games that haven't gotten a lot of attention lately. I know I tend to review the more obscure games and the more esoteric games, like Mothership I just did a review of. One of my viewers turned me on to Iggy, so a big shout out to him, and thank you for the donation. Yeah, it was really cool, and it's a game I had never heard of. I didn't, and I periodically try to go on DriveThruRPG and just troll, and see what's out there, but it's just so much stuff, and there's so many great games. And so if you haven't watched my latest video on Mothership, go check it out. It's a quick video. I think it's only 20-30 minutes long. But it talks a little bit about it and gives you a kind of a preview. So hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed making it, of course. So with that being said, Midgard's going fine. I'm enjoying it. I'm not looking to kill the game anytime soon. I want to see where these characters go and how they progress in the storyline and what decisions they make. So, of course, the big new hotness right now is Pathfinder 2.0. And, of course, I'm seriously thinking about running this. But my problem is this is basically this is D&D. It's, it's an upgraded version with new rules. And I think that's the attraction for me right now is the hotness of the rules. I did the beta test. There's significant changes from that, but there's a lot that stayed the same, and so I'm excited and kind of eager to get this to the table and see how it plays, and if it still has that wonder and excitement that all shiny new games have. Plus, I mean, we're at 638 pages or something like that, and it's just gaming goodness. I've been reading it. I'm in character creation right now. I've watched a couple other video reviews on it and stuff. Of course, I did my review. I kind of did an overview. I didn't really review the game because there's a ton of reviews out there. I just gave my thoughts. So that's one of the games that I'm excited about, and I'm quite possibly a contender. The one that I gave the most consideration to, and went back and looked at my stuff because I really like the game. I met the designer. He's a super nice guy. I actually had him on my channel and did a interview with him. Is Tephra, steampunk role-playing game. This is a phenomenal game. It's a D12 game. It's awesome. It has tiers. It has 4 tiers. So the higher you roll, the better the tier, the more damage you do, or the more successes you get, basically. It's a very cool game. It's got a very unique world. It's unlike anything I've seen. Satires, like woodland Aodin, which are basically amphibious flyers, for lack of a better word. Their wings actually work underwater, and so they're very weird. Very cool characters, and they're actually a little bit stronger underwater than they are on land, but they can breathe as well. So, and of course humans and your standard stuff like that, gnomes or halflings, whatever they call them. I don't remember what they call them. But I was really, really excited about this one and really wanted to get it to the table. I ran a short game, and I've played in a couple of games at conventions, but I didn't get a chance to actually run it as much as I wanted to. Gnomes, Centaurs, elves, Aodins, humans, and Farishtas, which are basically feral, or the enlightened elves. So really wanted to get this, but again, kind of fantasy. I didn't know if my players were going to accept it. It's kind of a far out realm. You know, it's kind of steampunkish fantasy, heavy fantasy with magic and some steampunk clockwork type stuff in it. But very cool, very neat game, very cool mechanics. Go check out my review of it way back in the archives, and or not, pick it up. It's on drive-through. You can go to their. It's not Cracked Monocle. They changed their name. I don't remember what they changed their name to. They used to be Clockwork Monocle, but they've changed their name. So this was a really good one, and I was really excited. I was real tempted to run this, but then I thought, well, it's a little bit outside of the norm. And then the other game that I was giving serious consideration to was Realms of Terran Off for the Genesis system by Fantasy Flight. I'm a huge Descent fan, and I love the world of Terran Off. But again, this is another high fantasy setting, and I thought, well, we're already playing D&D. I want to play something different. So this kind of quickly came and went. I only ran it once. We had a lot of fun, but the people that were the players and me just didn't get along for whatever reason, and they decided not to play anymore. So don't know why, don't care. It is what it is. If they didn't like my sense of humor or whatever, I'm not for everybody. I get it. But, they played one session, said they had a great time, and then I kept trying to, schedule with them, and they kept blowing me off. And then finally, the one young lady said, hey, really, didn't enjoy your humor or your attitude. I don't know. They said I said something that was offensive to them. I apologized. I moved on. Life's too short to worry about hurting other people's feelings that much. I don't recommend you go out and be a dick, but my nickname is Mr. Mean for a reason. I don't pull my punches. And so, for whatever reason, I said something that offended them. I don't have a clue what I said or did, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, this is a strong contender. I may still go with this because I really like the Genesis system. I love the Descent world and Realms of Terran Off. This is a really good read. If you haven't picked it up, I recommend you grab it. If you like the Star Wars Fantasy Flight system with the narrative dice, and I know what some people will say, I got to go out and buy special dice. Well, if you have the Star Wars dice, I have like 6 sets of dice, so my players don't need to buy anything. I've got enough dice for everybody to use. But if you haven't tried the narrative dice system by Fantasy Flight, I highly recommend it. Of course, the Star Wars game is really great. I think the Jedi part of it is not that great. It just, to me, it doesn't invoke the feel of Star Wars Jedi. But the Edge of the Empire book, your Han Solo type characters, your smugglers, your dilettantes and all that Edge of the Empire to me is probably in my top 5 RPGs. I really like it. I've played it and I've GM'd it, and I really, really enjoy it. I played and GM'd Force and Destiny, and to be honest, it didn't grab me. I wasn't enamored with it enough. The Force powers are wonky, and they just, they don't give you enough feeling of the Star Wars. That's just my opinion. Your mileage may vary. Lightsabers didn't feel that awesome, but blasters obviously do, and so like I said, narrative dice system, funky dice. My players don't need to go out and buy anything. I have enough sets of dice that everybody can use it. So for me, it's not a big deal. For you, your mileage may vary, but I would say go to a convention, play either Shadow of the Beanstalk, stupidest name ever, by the way, for their cyberpunk game, Realms of Terran Off for their high fantasy, and of course Force and Destiny or Edge of the Empire or the Rebellion one, the Star Wars ones. If you're a big Star Wars fan, you might like it. So I kind of said no to this only because of the funny dice system, and I'm not sure how my players will feel about it, but it's definitely on the list. And then I have a soft spot for everything Modiphius. Chris Birch is a super nice guy. I've talked to him a couple of times, and I was there from the beginning. You know, when the Mutant Chronicles Kickstarter came up, and he was working out of his garage, and you know, he was just trying to get things off the ground, to now where he's this big company and he's doing great. You know, so I'm proud to say that I've backed most of his stuff in some way, shape, or form. Star Trek. The problem here is I love the mechanics. It's a little bit different than most of the 2D20 games, but it's still, if you know how to run Conan, you can run this, just have to make some tweaks. The problem here is not everybody's a Trekkie, so I don't want to assume that the players are a Trekkie. Of course, I need to ask them, and if they're interested, I'll run it, because I am interested in running it. I ran the Decipher Star Trek game for a while, and I loved it. So this is pretty exciting and near and dear to me. And I would like to give it a try. So it's one that I have to talk to them about and see if they're interested. And of course, this is, you know, sci-fi, so it's kind of out of the fantasy genre. So I'm hoping maybe they might be interested in it. Everybody kind of loves fantasy. That's the largest demographics for role-playing games is fantasy. So obviously you can't go wrong with fantasy-type games. But so I wanted to throw out Star Trek there and see what the players think. But you know, like I said, I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet. So another sci-fi game that's near and dear to my heart is Shadow Zone. This is the classic reprint. I did a review of this one as well. Brett Bernstein is the owner of Priestess Intermediary, or PIG Games. Priestess Intermediary Games, Intermedia Games, pig.net. Great guy. He sent me a bunch of stuff. I've done a couple of reviews of a lot of his product. This is the classic reprint. So basically they took the core files. He got the license for it, and he got the core files, and he just cleaned them up a little bit and basically just did a classic reprint. I mean, it's still the same material. I don't think they really added anything. I think they just went in and cleaned some of it up. So if you have the box set of this that West End Games released years ago, you have this already. I had the box set, and it was funny. What sparked this whole thing is I opened the box set and I was flipping through the book, and the glue, it's 20 years old, and the glue had dried, and so it was super brittle, and the pages started falling. I mean, it literally broke. And so I went online I was going to try to replace it or see if I could find replacement copies or even a PDF of it so that I could just read it at my leisure when I wanted to. And I saw that Pig had got the license and had put this book out, so I ordered it. And best $20 I ever spent. I think it was $20, 20 or $30, I don't remember. Classic reprint, really good system, real simple system. Highly recommend it. So this is an option for the players as well. And I got to toss it out to them and see if it's something they're interested in. And it's sci-fi, so you know, and it can be as hard or as soft sci-fi as you want. It's got kind of switches built into it that you can have aliens, or you can just be all humans and leave the aliens out. You know, the choice is yours. So really excited about that, and you know, gonna pitch that idea to them. And then another one that I came up with that I really like is Big Eyes Small Mouth. This is the 3rd edition from Art House Publishing. It used to be Guardians Publishing, or Guardians of Order, I think. It used to be the old company. And he restructured Mark C. McKinnon. There's a lot of controversy around him. You can Google it. Evidently, he had another company called, I think it was Guardians of Order or something, Guardians or something like that. And it went under. He kind of closed up shop, owing, and this is all hearsay, don't quote me. The rumor is that he closed up shop and owed a lot of artists and a lot of people money, and kind of went, I guess, like bankrupt or something, and then came back a couple years later with this. It died a horrible death. I don't even think this Art House Games is even around anymore. I don't know. but I haven't seen anything new for this in quite a while. I wonder if we can see the publishing date. But either way, this is a beautiful book. It's really well done. 2007. So I haven't seen anything from these guys since 2008. But if you like your anime style RPGs, Evangelion, Bubblegum Crisis, any of those kind of games, this can do it. Big Eye Small Mouth is an homage to all your anime inspired RPGs. I probably need to do a review of this because I have like 3 different copies of this game in its various iterations. But yeah, you can see the art is very anime style. I think there's that's a good one. Your classic anime elf, But I thought the art was really well done. The character sheet is a little busy in my eyes. That's the character sheet. So, but this was an option, and I quickly kicked it to the curb because A, it's a dead game. B, I think it's hard to find. It may be on drive-thru. I don't know. And if my players want to go out and buy the game, it might be hard for them to do it. And I only have the 1 copy, so we'd have to make characters. So it was an option because it's a different genre. It's the fantasy genre, and I thought, oh wow, that'd be fun. But then I kind of was like, I don't know. I have the fantasy setting for this. I can't think of the name of it right now. It's up there on the shelf. But it uses these rules. But I think it's out of print. It's hard to find, and I didn't want to have my players go, I wanted to buy the game and I can't buy it. I think that's kind of shitty. So, and then last but not least, I kind of fell into this. I did a review of it a couple weeks ago, and I've been reading it off and on in between Pathfinder. And I'm really, really liking what I'm reading. And I did a review of it. It's Unity. By Zensara Studios, and again, this is published by Modiphius, and I wanted to do a video on Modiphius, and I think I still will. I just haven't gotten around to it. Came with ribbons, which is cool, or a ribbon, and I can see I'm about halfway through the book right now. I'm reading up on character creation, but a very cool, unique world. Again, another kind of a dark fantasy setting, but very, very different character types, and not like a clone of D&D, but it uses some of the mechanics that are similar to D&D and or Pathfinder First Edition. You can see the writing was by Anson Tran. You can see that he's very much influenced by the games of the last 10, 15, 20 years. D&D, Pathfinder, even some elements of Dungeon World and stuff like that in here. So, but very cool mechanics, very cool class system. And I think this might be the one I go with. And the problem, my only analysis paralysis with this is it's still fantasy. It's a very different kind of fantasy. And the game came out over a year ago, and I don't think he's put out anything new since. I think it's Zensara Studios, and I'm not sure if it's awesome map on the inside, by the way. If you haven't seen my review of this, go check it out. I'm trying to see, and I got something on it. Or no, it came. Can you believe this? This was in my book. I ordered this from Miniature Market, and it looks like someone ate something, and you can see it there next to my thumb. And it got on the book. I opened the book and I saw that, and I was like, what the hell? I think it might be a piece of glue or something. So whoever was packaging this, they kind of, unity-rpg.com. Let me see if I can go on their website. I don't even know if they have a website. I think I checked, and I think it's a little more than a placeholder website. So unity-rpg.com. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, they have a webpage. 4 factions, 1 destiny. The art is it reminds me of what's the name of the game? Frag. The art reminds me of Frag, especially the panel layout like they have here. You guys can't see my screen, so I apologize. Go to unity-rpg.com and you can see what I'm talking about. If you've seen my review on Fragged, or you're following any of the Frag stuff that's on Kickstarter, you can see it. So let's see, what is the PDF cost? $25.99. So I think that's a little steep for a PDF. But this guy is selling it on his own. So, he's got a cool website, but the website hasn't been updated. That's a pet peeve of mine, is websites that don't feature a date that tells you when it's been updated. I don't like that. Sample PDF, but I don't believe he has character sheets that you can join. And if I remember correctly, there was no blank character sheet in the sample PDF. So my question is, how do you get a copy of the character sheet? The sample PDF, I believe, does not. Let's see if it's in the store. So you can go to the online store. Let's see. Free shipping to North America and the UK for a limited time. Well, that's been up there for a year or so. I have a funny feeling this is kind of a dead game. $30 for a GM screen is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I don't care how awesome your game is. $30 for a GM screen is for a piece of cardboard. Do we at least get a starting? Let's see here. A gorgeous 4-panel limited edition Unity Game Master screen that contains spectacular artwork on one side and a plethora of useful mechanics, references, and rules on the Game Master side. A wonderful and handy addition to include in your game. Each panel is made of thick cardstock, so you don't even get. And so this is even worse than the Pathfinder GM screen, because Pathfinder is a major A-list title. So this is a fly-by-night Kickstarter that was successful. And don't get me wrong, I think the game is very innovative and it's very neat, but a $30 for a GM screen, now I know why your website hasn't been updated, because nobody's buying your stuff, because your stuff is overpriced. Let's see, $56.35 for the core rulebook, or $90, $89.42 for the deluxe cover, which is just a black faux leather cover that says Unity. And to be honest, I think the full art cover is much better. But these are overinflated prices. I didn't pay anywhere near $56. I think I got this game off of Miniature Market for $20 or $25, whatever it was at Miniature Market. So I think that's criminal to charge $56 for a game that nobody's heard of. So you guys are doing yourself a disservice. Drop this down to $40, and it's too late now, because you can buy it off of Miniature Market for I think it's $25. Let's go look at Miniature Market and see if they still have it. I know I bought it off of miniaturemarket.com. Let's see. Unity RPG. Let's see. Yeah, $46.35. I didn't pay that for it. I got it for like $25, but I bought it on discount. It was on their discounted sale, their summer sale. I think I got it for $21 or $23, I think, is what I paid. So even still, $46, that's a little steep. If it included free shipping, I'd be down for it. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a gorgeous game. The art in there is fantastic. The mechanics are really solid. It's a 2D10 mechanic. It's very similar to D20, but with 2D10, and they have mechanics in there for failing forward, kind of like the Fantasy Flight's storytelling's dice mechanic does. So very much like it, from what I've read so far. I'm going to read some more of it probably tonight while I'm laying in bed. I won't get any reading done tomorrow night because it's Critical Role night, and I'm all caught up, and I wanna see what happens, because I'm a critter, and I'm excited to see what the next episode is. So that's my analysis paralysis, guys. That's where I'm stuck. I think I'm going to go with Unity, but I'm leaning real heavy towards Realms of Terran Off. I'm also kind of interested in Star Trek, so I'm going to pitch it to the players and see what they want their backup campaign to be. And it'll be one of those games where we run, like, one or two players can't make the session, we'll run this game. So, and then it'll just be whoever can make it makes it, and those who can't make it, it's no harm, no foul, because it's kind of a pickup game. But I'm excited. It's got the juices flowing. Depending on what I go with, I've got some story arcs. I made some notes on my downtime at work, depending on if I go with Unity or if I go with Star Trek, or if I try to do Realms of Terran Off. Realms of Terran Off is easy because I have tons of source material for the game with all the Descent stuff, so I can definitely whip up an adventure real quick with no problems. Actually, I can just go to the Fantasy Flight website and then use their random dungeon generator that they have for Descent, and there's your adventure. You don't even have to think. You could do that with any fantasy game, or even some modern to sci-fi games, depending. You can just tweak the adventure. But if you're stuck and you need an idea, things like that I highly recommend. There's a plethora of them on your cell phone, utilities for dungeon masters that will give you, very cool ideas. So pretty excited about it. I don't know what you guys think or what you feel out of those listed. Which ones you think would be good, which ones you think would be bad for relatively new players. Have you run any of them? What's your thoughts on them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? And just let me know what you think in the show notes. As always, like and subscribe. I appreciate everybody watching it. And as I always say, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says to be nice.